Welcome to Rauta and Underground Trio episode with three different bands of three different styles coming from three different parts of the world. And three different albums indeed will go according to my personal worst to best order here. So let's do it. Now first we will head to Finland with a new band, Turtumus. And this one is a solo project. One could even make a wild guess that this is some kind of a COVID project, because the first footprints of this band or project are from around 2021. That is roughly 2 years ago when, COVID was more or less active, or at least, the lockdown phase probably impacted a lot of bands. As you can see, this one is just very simple, back to basics, kind of a digipack, no lyrics whatsoever, except the one artist here shown, who is doing all the instruments, all vocals and all that stuff. Now this one is a curious case because technically speaking this is right up my alley. It's kind of a raw end of black metal with fast tempo, aggressiveness and all that stuff. Now the first few tracks, or at least the very beginning, is like already, okay, I'm liking this. Now towards the end you go, there more synthesizers will be included, more melodic parts and all that stuff, and that's where it kind of gets bumpy on the road. That being said, while the vocals are really raw and rough, there's nothing I can really bitch about them. But when the, more melodic riffs, and especially those kind of a cheesy synthesizer parts come into play, I'm feeling kind of a strong contrast. At the same time, this is more like going to the softer end of black metal, but when you have the kind of a raw end of production, and especially those raw, hateful vocals, there's a little bit weird, way to do the whole stuff. I mean, it's as if you're doing something weird. Maybe it's kind of a sweet and sour kind of a thing, and I'm not just getting the grasp of it. But I'm saying this EP, lasting for almost 30 minutes, is actually worth a listen. While it's not really good all the way through, I would still say there are some really nice potential moments which really are something like, yeah, I actually like that stuff. But like I said, those keyboard parts and some of the weaker parts of guitar sound, I mean, when it gets to really melodic parts and all that stuff, it's like, really? This needs to go back to the drawing board. Needs a stronger sound. I mean, even if you go really necro sound, at least it should have a punch. And now it's more like a bitch slap when it comes to production. I know it might sound harsh, but you really can't get all the candy, give all the candy to all the bands out there when you have those minor flaws. But give it a go if you're in the raw end of melodic black metal. Then we have this band called Aeffect, which is an interesting combination of gent and modern death metal. Now, when it comes to gent, this needs to be mentioned because I am sensing a strong Meshuggah kind of a thing here, with the kind of a din breakdown kind of a stuff. Now this is self-financed CDR, and to be honest, I don't understand why. Because the quality of this album, whether we're talking about songwriting or about the production, is actually quite good. And in my opinion, this should have gotten real label deal rather than going out there on your own and releasing this one on a CDR. For example, my old quality CD player is like, nope, not gonna play it. I was unable to do it there, and I suspect some people with some more like a vintage or some kind of old school setup might have the problem as well. But like I said, the music is right there, and this sounds heavy, this sounds modern, and I think these guys know already what they're doing. However, there are flaws, not big ones, but still, and they need to be addressed. And in my opinion, this album, where the faults come in, is that songwriting could be a lot more memorable. Now, in my opinion, this is more like figuring out, yes, we need those gent parts, we need to sound heavy, we need to sound a little bit progressive, we need to have some technical stuff here, and that's where you kind of got all the ingredients on the table, but you're missing the seasoning. It's like a good steak. Like, you have the good steak, nicely medium rare, whatever, but you're missing the salt. So what in essence, in my opinion, Aeffect needs here is the salt, and that is not present there. So it's kind of like you have everything you need to have except a good taste, the one that really leaves your taste buds desiring for more. And that's unfortunately where this fails. So I kind of like listening to it. I feel comfortable with it, much like the Turtumus stuff, but when you're missing something, that's really what separates the shaft from the good stuff. So all I'm saying is potential here also, but not there yet. Which leads us to the best of the pile, Askeregn from Norway. Now there are a couple of bands with the same name, one from Germany and one from Norway, and if I understand correctly, if I know correctly, both of these are playing black metal. However, this is one from Norway, and this is Possession Release, a cult label often doing quality work, and Askeregn is not an exception. Now, I haven't really been checking out, I'm just making a wild guess of my wonderful linguistic skills. This is ironic comment, by the way, and I would say this means something like ash, rain, raining ash, or something like that. Might be wrong, but I don't really care. That's your homework to do in case I got you interested in this three-piece of a band. Now, this is more like the new wave of Norwegian black metal, and by that I mean it's tapping the very classic ways, doing kind of a necro, aggressiveness, raw end of black metal, but then again, still maintaining the 1990s kind of a vibe. Now, this is definitely putting me into certain box of bands coming from Norway, Trondheim or what have you, or Oslo, who knows. Bands like Hordung Rife and Tudor come to my mind because these guys play fast, they play aggressively, they're not shy of being a little bit raw and grim with the music. But if I could ask something a little bit more, which would make this album great in my opinion, it's a little bit more, you can't call it catchiness, you can call it hit-oriented stuff. Hey, come on, we all know those Persian Doctrine or Mayhem songs, who knows, which are really catchy and memorable, right drilling into your brain. This isn't about making the, love at first sight kind of an impact with the first spin, because of course I give them multiple spins, but I still don't really have it. So all I'm saying, these guys do handle the riffs. They make good riffs. They make the production, which is very solid, very fitting. They have the aggressiveness. This is right on my table, right up my alley with the terms of black metal. I like what these guys are doing. Now it's just about finishing touches, if I can make my point across. And I would say, if you're into fast, fierce, grim, raw sounding black metal, you don't mind the high tempo and whatnot, Askeregn is definitely right up your alley. And actually this cover is pretty cool. You don't often see a skeleton with a kind of a Grim Reaper accessories, hanging around on a planet called Earth. I don't know about you, but I like it. So there you have 3 different albums, 3 different bands. Go check them out. Links are provided in the description box. Don't be a hater. Dig good music. Bye bye.